Can we get Ruth up?
Hi, Ruth, you're right.
Hiya, Jen.
Pleased to meet you, Ruth.
You're welcome.
Actually, we have met before. I don't think she can hear me. Yeah, I splashed shandy on her at the Pride of Britain Awards, and she took it quite badly. And from there on, she disagreed with everything I said.
And we're back on in 5,
Weird.
4.
Time now to get some answers, starting with why, if this technology is so addictive, betting chains haven't banned it.
Well, the only bandit you hear in gambling is the one-armed
bandits
bandit in the corner of the bookies. Snap.
Indeed.
You must be telepathic.
Must be. Ruth Duggan joins us from a Solihull bookmakers. Ruth, a community ravaged by gambling and all down to one type of machine.
Well, not all. It's important to emphasise that.
But it certainly played a large part, hasn't it?
That's right. It's a contraption that some believe has caused a terrifying spike in gambling addiction.
Fixed odds betting machines.
Fixed odds betting terminals. You'll find FOBTs in every bookie, and each one takes hundreds of pounds a day.
Wow.
And yet they so rarely pay out.
Well, actually, no. They pay out almost every other spin.
Which is what makes them so addictive.
Exactly right.
Okay.
So the debate now turns to how to discourage punters.
Starting with an outright ban.
Well, not really. No one is suggesting a ban as such.
But the white paper proposed a limit to the maximum bet.
That's it. Exactly.
Meanwhile, whole communities are being ruined, and surely the government has to see that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because the fallout has to be costing them money.
Well, in actual fact, gambling makes the government more
Okay.
through tax revenue than it costs it.
And the Treasury will be reluctant to lose that.
Precisely, Jenny.
Okay.
So really, it's
A tightrope,
a balancing act.
which is what a tightrope is.
Well, Ruth, thank
Ruth,
you.
this is a bad thing, right?
It's complicated, certainly.
OK, then it's a significant thing.
Well, some say it's not treated as significant enough.
But in your opinion, now it's, if nothing else, worthy of comment. It's not nothing, it's something.
Yes.
Thank you. There'll be more from Ruth tomorrow.
I'm off tomorrow.
The day after, then.
Our reporter Ruth Duggan joins us from AI Mobile Tech, a Cambridge-based software company.
Ruth, I'm sure we'll be speaking to each other a great deal now I'm the new co-host. Hope there are no hard feelings. OK, fair enough. Ruth, a drastic change to the world of motoring.
Well, I don't know about drastic. Mercedes-Benz developed a driverless car in 1987, so change has been relatively gradual.
And I believe we'll be seeing these cars on British roads quite soon.
That's right. The government has said that it wants fully driverless cars in use by 2021.
Once again, jobs potentially being lost to robots.
Well, actually, it's expected to boost employment. The Treasury has earmarked 150 million for training and development.
And it'll spell big changes to everything from congestion to insurance.
It certainly will.
Presumably, premiums are going to go through the roof.
No, the opposite. Some 94% of crashes are caused by human error. Remove that from the equation and insurance costs should tumble.
Computers don't share our bad habits, I suppose.
Here we go.
Exactly.
Unbelievable.
A computer isn't going to fiddle with a car's sat-nav while changing lanes on a motorway like some people.
Not sure people do. Inbuilt sat-navs tend to be disabled while driving, so not totally accurate.
The point is, all of the things that a driver has to remember to do, you know, look in the mirror, slow down, push the clutch, change gear, they're all done by
Doubt
AI.
if they'd have a clutch to push, though. It'll just be a torque converter.
Because it's automatic transmission.
Precisely.
Well, I take your point, but whatever the mechanics, it'll mean no more slaps on the wrist from the DVLA.
DVSA, maybe?
Sorry?
Oh, it's not the DVLA anymore. It merged with VOSA and became the DVSA in 2014, I think.
Meaning what? The Driving and Vehicle Standards Agency?
That's absolutely right, Jenny.
Well, forgive me, I'm not familiar with all the latest abbreviations.
It's not an abbreviation.
Acronym, sorry.
And not an acronym either, no, it's an initialism. An acronym is an initialism that can be pronounced as a word, like NASA or LOL. You should watch more QI.
Which is an initialism?
That's exactly right, Jenny, yes.
Either way, the biggest change will be one of attitudes. Britain has tended to be somewhat cool on new technology, but expect that frostiness to unthaw once driverless cars hit the
Unthaw?
roads. Back to you.
Thanks,
I
Ruth.
think she means Thor.
A
I think she
fascinating,
probably said the wrong word because she was under pressure.
a fascinating glimpse at a driverless future.
Now, mention our American cousins, and most people think weaponry, donuts, racism, and brown paper shopping bags with no handles. What's all that about?
Oh dear, I thought you were having a stroke there. But there's much more to America than that. Time for New SA, our first regular update on the state of the states. We're joined by our very own Ruth Duggan for a segment as American as Mum's apple pie.
thought you were having
and
a stroke.
who doesn't love Mum's apple pie?
Well, I'm sure I would. I've not met your mum, but I imagine a kind of Nanette Newman type. Crimping crusts and cutting out love hearts from excess pastry to plonk on the top of the pie lid.
Something like that. What about your mum's?
Well, I love my mum, but I have to say she made bad pies. And even though she loved me, she managed to make a pie without putting any love into it whatsoever. So, yeah, just chopped apples, pastry, lots of brown sugar, but, as I say, no love. But, Ruth, I bet you loved your mum's apple pie. First up, police raid a house in Cleveland and find 4 dead men in a septic tank. Not the kind of story anyone likes.
I do, actually. I love anything like that.
Right.
Absolutely delicious.
Yeah, right, you mean the apple pie. I'm the same, though, Ruth. All the pastry turns into a fat back.
Well, quite. It's been described as a truly gruesome sight.
What?
A vision of hell. Dismembered limbs from as many
right,
as...
I think you've got a bit of a delay on the line.
A delay on the line.
Copycat.
So I'll just try and soldier on as best... Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
It's all right. I was just saying the same thing as you said.
I should just try and push on and assume that you can hear... Yep, go ahead, Alan.
No, you go ahead.
Shall
You
I
go
continue?
ahead.
So
You
I'll
go
try-
ahead.
I didn't
You
quite
go
catch-
ahead. It's like trying to have a chat on a webcam with someone in the Philippines. Or bloody anywhere in the world.
Yes, sorry, after you.
And Ruth, stop talking. We're starting again. Nod when you get this. Now, Ruth, hello.
Hello.
Good. Do you like your mum's apple pie?
Yes.
And I believe the police have found the remains of 4 dead men in a house in Cleveland.
Yes, that's right.
Well, tell us about it and give us a long answer so we don't have to keep going back and forth.
Now?
Yes, now. I should knock on the side of your box.
Well,
Ignore
as
the
I said,
box thing.
it's a grisly discovery. And while the identities of the men haven't been Sorry, the side of my box? The owner of the house has been named locally as 51-year-old Brian Crilly, now the subject of a full-scale manhunt.
Well, Ruth, I think we'll leave it there for today. Thank you.
You're welcome, Jenny.
Let you go and enjoy the sunshine.
Too hot for me, I'm afraid.
You back with us next week?
The week after.
See you then.
Bye-bye.
Ruth Duggan there. And apologies if there were any technical glitches. I think we got it sorted out in the end.
Now, the Palace of Westminster may be known as the Mother of Parliaments, but she's a mother who's seen better days, worn out by the 600 members inside her.
So plans are afoot to give the old girl a makeover, with work set to start on an ambitious £3 billion refurb.
But where Parliament will sit in the meantime is another question altogether. To tell us more, we're joined live by our roving reporter, Ruth Duggan, who's roved all the way to Westminster. Ruth, you're at the Houses of Parliament.
Well, I'm in Parliament Square a few yards away.
In front of the Houses of Parliament.
Well, behind them, technically. The front is the side that faces out onto the Thames, but I take your point.
You take my point.
I take your point.
You take my point. And this new idea of relocating to a site away from London has presumably been met with short shrift at Westminster.
Well, it's not really a new idea.
But the report's new.
Exactly, Jenny.
OK,
Yes.
but the new report, that's been met with short shrift by Westminster.
Well, not really. You'd be surprised at how receptive MPs have been.
Go on.
There are plenty of Scottish MPs who believe a move further north is a good thing.
Because it'll help their constituents feel more connected to the democratic process.
That's exactly right.
But it stands to reason that this move, it's going to cost a lot of money.
Well, actually, no. London is one of the most expensive cities in the world, so finding a site elsewhere would pay off over the long term.
And it's possible this could lead to whole government departments leaving London too.
Well, absolutely. And the more jobs move, the greater the boost to regional economies.
Which has to be a good thing.
Certainly does.
It's possible that this could lead to whole government departments leaving London too.
Well, I don't see any suggestion of that quite yet.
You agreed when she said it.
Well, from speaking to those in
was
Whitehall...
literally word for word
There's a determination
what Jenny said.
to explore the fine print of any proposal
Well, absolutely.
before any
said to her.
hasty plans are drawn up.
Well, absolutely. Ruth Duggan, thank you.
And Ruth, I believe wedding bells are in the air?
Yes, Mark will be making an honest woman of me in the spring.
Oh, well, congratulations.
You must be happy.
Bit frazzled, lots to organise.
But happy.
Well, ask me in a few months' time.
But now, I mean, you're happy.
Well, I wouldn't want to give Mark too big of a head.
But on balance, you must be more happy than unhappy.
Well, it's all been a bit of a blur.
Well, you look happy.
I am happy. Very happy.
Unbelievable.